Welcome to the Quant Room, the stories behind the data.
Y'all know what it is. It's Quant Room, the stories behind the data, powered by Spikeet. And today we have a very special guest. I mean, very special, very successful. I'm really excited to get into his story. For you guys who don't know, this is Chris Shunk's. Did I say that right?
Chris Schunk? Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Schunk. So I think the first thing I want to start off with is I'm going to talk about something. You recently did it was like an interview with Tim Sykes, right? And you said this year your profits around 2.2 million. That is extraordinary. That is honestly extraordinary. As someone who's put in a lot of work, I don't know. I think you've been at it less time than I have. I think
Really?
I've been at it like 5 years. I've been at it since like maybe around 2019, beginning of 2019, like right before COVID hit, I started.
Okay.
So, I mean, congrats, man. How does that feel? How does that feel like at this level? Does it feel surreal? Does it feel like,
I mean, okay. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, so I started with my brother, so that was a big like boost. Obviously, I think I had an easier time starting than most people because most people start without knowing anyone that's doing it.
Mhm.
Yeah, and like mentally, you go through phases where it's surreal, it's amazing, and then the sad but very sobering part is that excitement fades off, and then it just becomes normal life again, which is one of the weirdest parts about anything really. And then you realize, I think a lot of people are chasing a high, but it just becomes normal life. And for me, it's always been a job, but um, I mean, it's great. Obviously, I'm super appreciative, and I know how fortunate I am, and everything's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, but I would say my mentality is the same as when I started. I mean, you get happy, you get sad, you go through drawdowns. I'm in a drawdown right now. Um, and there's still fear. There's still fear. Like, is it going to last forever? It's always there.
I get that feeling. I have that feeling with similar things, like maybe, for example, you get the girl that you always wanted, and then, later down the line, you're like, this is normal life, or maybe you get the job you always wanted. I could imagine that feeling with $1 million, but, everyone has different goals. But for you guys who don't know, he has an amazing story. He actually started off as a music teacher. And I think, according to my research, you stopped working during COVID, or what happened during the COVID time
Yeah,
period?
I just people stopped doing anything. So I lost
Yeah, that's
most of
true.
my students. Some of my students continued online, but I lost most of them. And that's when I asked my brother to teach me how to day trade.
Okay. Okay. So I guess, like, how was that in that moment? Like, how was you feeling in that moment? Because that's like, COVID was a lot of lows for a lot of people. I actually had a job. I didn't get laid off. I was, what was they calling them in America? They were calling like critical workers or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
The critical employees. I was considered like a critical employee because I used to I'm an engineer, right? So I
Yeah.
have an engineering background. I work in like the HVAC field. I'm not an architect, but I pretty much do like HVAC, plumbing, mechanical systems that go into the building. So when we're talking about like removing like the coronavirus from the air and stuff, that's who they call. I put the systems together that. So I was considered a critical worker. So I didn't stop working, but I was working from home, and that's actually like when I started taking trading serious.
Yeah.
But I actually had like a similar to you. I started with a cousin who actually worked at Fidelity, and he's made a lot of money in trading.
Yeah.
He taught me like the basics of trading during COVID. So that's kind of how I got started.
Okay.
So leading up to that, how did you get started with your brother?
I mean, I started, I think, like most people start, which was trying to do discretionary trading. And that's what my brother was doing at the time. And then he had this idea. Have you heard of OPB?
No.
Like up on Twitter? Oh, I mean, it's the most basic system strategy
What
that
what is it? Is it opening price break or something?
honestly, I think the term was coined by this guy, Malxian, from what I could remember. But I've credited to him for the last several years. It stands for opening print boys. So it's just
Okay.
shorting the
Got you.
9:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's
Gotcha.
Evan, Evan discovered it. Okay. I'm not From our perspective, Evan discovered it. We didn't know
Hmm.
we never heard of it. We didn't know anyone that
Right.
was doing it. We find out later this guy Chris Verma was also doing it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Evan discovered this very, very basic system thing, and he wasn't doing it because he didn't know anyone that was doing it, and thought it's weird. I found it in my data sheets that I'm tracking. I don't know if it actually works. And I was like, well, I just, I'm like a month in and I hate trying to read tape. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Oh, he
And
was
he's
reading
like,
tape. Oh man.
I mean, just like, you know, I, how everyone starts, like looking at charts and reading tape, and oh, it spiked up. Maybe it's time to short.
Yeah.
Just.
Yeah.
And then he's like, theoretically, you could just short the open and cover at the close. And if you do that on every gapper, you'll be green at the end of the month. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to try it. So
Gotcha.
that's how I started.
So tell me, so when you started, like, was it, like most people when they start something new, it's like, it's not going that well. Like, how did it go when you first got started?
I started in 2020. So my first trade was green, and I never went red. Because
Never.
the opening, the OPB was
Wait.
fire this year. I mean, it's
Wait.
not anymore, but I
So
got
let's
lucky.
let's slow down here. Let's slow down here. Let's look into this.
Okay.
You That is so rare. So your experience was, I guess in 2020, a lot of people had that experience kind of, but
Yeah.
they usually died at the end of the year though. Like they at some point they blew themselves up or something.
Yeah.
But you just been green your whole career.
Yeah.
Always positive.
I
Wow.
had a 2-year drawdown. So 2022 was so bad, I went below my highs, and I didn't get back to new highs until 2020, early 2024. I had almost exactly a 2-year drawdown.
Mm, that is tough. So
Yeah.
how was that? Like, what was the mentality and like, how did you feel about that personally? Because, I mean, I started off green. I started off, red volatility during 2020. Like, I didn't know what I was doing, of course. So like, I wasn't prepared to trade that type of market. So for me, it was like, I kind of already knew what it was like to be in the drawdown, to get the highs and lows. But for you went 2 years positive, 2 years in the
I know.
green.
I know.
So how did that make you feel? That had to be, like a heart wrencher right there.
No, it was a wake-up call. We thought we were on top 2020, 2021, we were on top of the world. We're
Hmm.
like, we're gonna have like tens of millions of dollars in a few years. We thought we like hacked the system. And then, 2022 came, we lost a lot of money, and it was a big wake-up call. And it was, okay, trading is a constant puzzle. You don't just solve one thing and it works forever. And it was a big learning lesson.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that pretty much sums up a lot of our experiences, at least in a systematic world. I mean, even discretionary traders can relate with that, right? Like they'll find something like breakouts might work one year, EPs might work another year, mean reversions might work another year, and then later down the line, different rotation, different cycle, the market comes and boom, like nothing that you're doing works and
Yep.
it's back to the grind. That's why I call it a living market. And
Exactly.
I think that describes it perfectly. It's a living market, and you need to always, like a person, you need to always figure out what is going through. So I think that's part of the journey,
Hmm.
and it's very hard. So I do want to touch on a couple of things during my interviews because I want to get like your background story because
Well,
I
I
don't
just
think I.
realized one thing. I'm worried that we're getting some bleed. I'm gonna put headphones on just like you're doing. I need to be more professional about this kind of stuff.
Nah, nah, nah. Like I said, we clean up the audio
You
anyway.
can
So
clean it up later. Okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah. So we're good. I got you covered. You're gonna sound great. I
okay,
promise.
okay. Yeah, that's not. They're not working anyways. I'm not gonna spend time figuring it out.
Great, great. I love it. So just give me like the rundown on like what would you say your character traits are? Like,
I mean, I was like an experimental, like avant-garde artist my whole life, and that's what I wanted to dedicate my life to. I mean, when people think my social media videos are weird, I mean, those are like, that I was doing on stage. It was even weirder, and I always just wanted to do something new and push boundaries. That's one of the reasons I like trading so much. It was completely new. The boundaries are completely unlimited. It's a constant problem solving.
mhm.
So all of those I think already sort of fit into my personality. And then yeah, my brother and I are competitive also, so we just always wanted to make more than the other person, and I think it helped push us the whole time.
Yeah, Definitely, and it seems like you guys are definitely making more at this point. So, um, I would agree with that. Definitely in this space in general. Um, I can't really speak on discretionary because but in the quant space or the systematic space, I think we should probably label as that more so. There is a need for creativity. I don't think people talk about enough. Um, Finding strategies is hard, man. Like it's not, you're really searching for a needle in a haystack. Some people just throw shit at the wall and hope for the best and hope they land on something that works. But um, it is kind of a needle in a haystack, and you got to get creative to find that optimal strategy. Have you ever really talked about, how your brother came to this ideal of, I guess, this OPB, just shorting the open?
Um, uh, he learned from I think it was Dux or Gratani or both of
Okay.
them that you should track the open, the high, the low, the close, the volume, the float, the market cap. So very, very basic. Gappers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he was doing it on piece of paper by hand. He wasn't even using Excel. And he just saw that most of the time it closed lower than it was open, just glancing at his Excel. And I mean, that's what came up with the idea. What if you do every single one of them? Will you be green on average? That was it.
So simple.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's, you know, maybe not now. I think more people are getting into the space, but
Yeah.
just in
Everyone knows
general.
about it now, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
it's kind of
but
died.
there's a lot of time I guess the obvious stuff is the stuff that works,
Yeah.
from my experience, especially when no one's really putting their brain to it and breaking down on it.
And
Okay.
letting it breathe. The amazing thing about this strategy is you're not being hyper specific. You're banking on just the law of averages with a large quantity of samples,
Hmm.
and you're not like taking a control freak approach over stock behavior. It's just it does whatever it does throughout the day, but most of the time it closes lower.
It's like really believing in the odds, right? Like literally
Yeah.
believing in the data.
Yeah.
That's something that I struggle with. I mess with my systematic stuff all the time. Even from like just sitting in front of Excel and like try to optimize, like, oh, can I do this? Playing around with different type of execution stops and stuff like that. Like, but I don't short, so it's a little bit longer.
It's
I mean,
harder.
it's a little bit harder on the long side, right?
It is. It is.
So, uh, how was it? Like going through that first couple of months with your brother. Obviously you was probably just in a great spot in life. It's obviously COVID, so maybe not the best spot in life at the time, but you probably found something that it seemed like you gained immediate interest and seen immediate success with. So, where were you living? Like, were you guys just open, like trading literally side by side, laptop to laptop? How was that experience?
No, the first couple months, COVID just hit. He was still living at my parents' house. I just went over to stay there because this crazy thing was going on.
Hmm.
And yeah, I just woke up with him and traded next to him every morning for a couple months. Eventually I went back to my place, but no, it was amazing. We felt like high, like we saw more growth than we ever thought we would see
It's
in such a
possible.
short amount of time. It was like one of the best years of our lives, honestly,
Yeah,
in that way.
man.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us. Well, I don't want to say a lot of us, 'cause COVID is obviously a very sensitive subject for a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
for me, I also had a very similar experience. I mean, I was making money from my job, working from home. This is like a new thing, and I was also trading, and I was making a decent amount of money the first couple of months. Um, at the end, I blew it all, but that's part of the experience. At least that was a part of the experience for me,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Maybe not for all of
Yeah.
us, but maybe if I would have kept all that money, then my account would be bigger now. So, but yeah, so I think that I mean that's an amazing experience. Like I had my friends do it. My brother started trading too at the time. I had one of my closest friends start trading. We all started doing it. We all talked to my cousin. He was teaching all of us. All of them quit because, as you know, trading gets harder when you get out of that bubble era, right? And
Yeah.
people just give up. They don't see it as profitable.
It's
And the
torturous.
consistent, yeah, it is. And that's when I started my 10,000 hour series, right? That I
Right.
was talking about. That's on my YouTube. Um, So that's when I started my series, and I was just my people would call me. They're like, "What are you doing, man? Hop on the game. Just do this." And I'm like, "Nah,
Yeah.
I'm studying trading. I'm looking at charts." They're like, "Why are you doing all that?" I'm like, "Cause this is going to be the next thing for me." And for me, it was always interesting because I looked at trading as a game. As I said, I came from a semi-pro background. I was I did game battles in Halo 3.
Really?
Um, yeah, I did game battles in Halo 3. I
That's the
went to
best one.
yeah. So, but I took all that experience, and I say this for anyone. We're kind of off subject here, but I say this for anyone. All the discipline that you learn in life, you can apply it to trading, and if you can be disciplined and consistent, I think you can make something out of it.
Yep.
But it does take that initial learning experience of being disciplined, some type of competitive, some type of creativeness to really get there. But yeah, so that's kind of like what I was doing, and then I channeled all that energy, all that effort, all that practice, and I just put it into training for like the last what is it, 2025? So last 5.5 years, something like that. And it hasn't been super rewarding, but I've been decently profitable. So tell me, just a little bit about for you. Like you said, you were competitive. What's your philosophy behind that? Like, do you feel like those things kind of help? Have you heard
Yeah.
like a similar story?
No, absolutely. I think competitiveness helps a lot. I mean, especially in trading, in careers, in business. You know, I mean, what we could talk philosophically is like competitiveness nice or something like that. I mean, I don't know, but it definitely helps.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you want to be better. It makes you work harder.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Not letting anyone win easy. Like you said, you always want to make more than everyone else. That's
I
kind of
know.
like
It's
that's kind of like my
stupid.
philosophy.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I've completely gotten I mean, I've honestly I was never competitive towards anyone in the trading space other than my brother.
That's interesting.
But I mean, I'm at a point now where I just want to make enough um to just kind of like maybe semi-retire or not have to think about trading I'm just trying to hit a number and hopefully go back to the arts, but we'll see. I hit the number I first said I was going to hit and quit, and I didn't quit,
Hmm.
so we'll see.
You're never getting out, man. Okay, so let's get into the. I mean, we're nerding out over here over a bunch of stuff, but let's get into some of the details of the system, right? So, um, obviously, as you know, you don't have to share too much about it, but maybe some of the things that you have, traded or researched. What do they look like? I think, well, people they might not know you, so just give them a rundown of what the journey looked like and what you've been trading so far.
I've been 99% small caps all of my career. It started with exactly what I was explaining, OPB.
Hmm.
I only did that on small caps for like a year and a half maybe until I started adding some other ideas, but it was all based in small caps and shorting. Now
Hmm.
I have more of a variety of what I do. It's still mostly shorting small caps. I will do some longing. I do have
Oh.
some more discretionary approaches that I'll take now.
Oh.
I do swing large caps occasionally. Um, so I've expanded since the beginning days, but yeah.
Okay. That's interesting because I never heard that in any of my research. I know you
Yeah.
guys were looking, but so what type of large
It was
caps are
really
we
just this
talking like,
year.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know you told Tim Sykes you started the long strategy like a month ago and you guys said you hated
I
it.
know. I know, I mean, it's a smaller size. I'm more testing them out until I
Hmm.
I push size on them.
Okay. So how many strategies are like you got running right now, like currently? Well, just in general, because the market right now is kind of shaky. I mean, in my opinion. So
Right. I don't know, like, it's always like usually between like 5 to 8.
wow. Wow.
Is that a lot?
Got me beat. Yes, that's a lot. That's a lot, man. 5 to 8 strategies that you've proven are profitable. That's a ton.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, like maybe 4 of them I'm like very confident on, and then the others are like I'm not so confident on.
Okay. So then, maybe like I guess how often do strategies rotate out of your I guess your system?
Oh, we just deleted a strategy we've been doing for almost 2 years. It doesn't happen very often. And then
Okay.
sometimes I'll stop doing one and then I actually might come back to it at another point. No, it doesn't happen often, but once we have a good strategy that we're very confident in, we will probably do it for at least 2 years. 2022, like I said, that was our down year. We had a strategy we were overconfident in,
Mm-hmm.
and we stopped doing it after a year because it was destroying us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's that.
Okay. And when you talk about like having these strategies, are they all running at the same time? Are some of them on cycles or some of them just, all these year round? How does that work? Like the time frame of it?
I have yet to determine uh times of the year in which a strategy is better. I don't take any of that into consideration as of
Mm-hmm.
so if I have a strategy, it's running all the time.
Okay, gotcha. And I mean, I guess you explained that one. So and then are they what is it like for like the universe of them? Are they all just small cap universe? I know you said you got some large, but
Yeah.
how does that
I mean, in terms of system, it's all small cap, but
okay.
large caps, I'm basically, you know, uh, it's more like it's more just like seeing a good opportunity and thinking, a big stock like, for example, the Tesla dip. I was a big buyer on the Tesla dip maybe a years ago.
About 2 years
Um,
ago?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and PayPal's in a dip right now. I'm
Looking at
down on
that
it
one.
because it's dipping more.
This is not financial advice, everyone. Just to clear. I don't know if you have like your series license or anything like that, but this is not financial advice.
No.
So, always do your own due diligence and
Yeah,
don't try to copy our trades, okay?
yeah,
but
and then
but
yeah, go on.
yeah, but okay, so that sounds good. How do you look at diversification then? Like it sounds like you're diversifying a little bit now, but it sounds like maybe in the beginning that wasn't so much like a thought, or what? How was that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I keep everything separate. So I have my small cap account. I have all my large cap, dumb swing ideas in another account. Um, I have been looking more into small cap, mid cap breakouts. But
Mhm.
I do all that into my longing those, and I just do that in my small cap account. Um, and then I just have super, super safe like investments, QQQ,
Mhm.
crap like that.
Mhm. Gotcha. So a little bit diversification everywhere then, huh?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's interesting. So you treat in separate accounts. That makes sense. I think when I first got my account doing pretty decent, large enough, at least for me, I wanted to trade options because I have like a gambler's itch, like a lot of people do. Um, and I made like an account, like a maybe like $2,000, and just tried options. I hated it. I don't understand how they work. I
I
think they're
just did
stupid.
my first options trade recently, and I'm just like, it's hard, man. It's complicated.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not about
There's
to
way
dig
more
into all the
variables.
alphas and sigmas and
I know.
uncertainties. But in 2020, yeah, I was trading everything. Like I was
Yeah,
trading option on all the big stocks that had high premium that would go up like a dollar or just go up like 5% a day, and you'll get like literally you were getting like 100% returns on your options. It was insane. But I didn't know anything about risk management system at the time,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is actually interesting. How did you learn about risk management system? Your brother taught you it from the beginning, or was it something you just learned on a journey?
Yeah, no, no, no. So it was baked into the OPB strategy. And
Mm-hmm.
at that time, you talk to most people on Twitter, they'll just use some wide percentage stop. I've heard people doing from 20% to like 200%. I mean, you can choose anything. So, you just short the open, you have a random percentage stop, and that's it. Um, and we were doing something similar at the time. We were actually doing a $4 stop just because Evan saw that stocks rarely went up $4. It was just random and arbitrary, and we had no idea what we were doing, but it just happened to work, so we got lucky.
That is so, I'm sorry. That is so terrible logic. Not even based on like the volatility or like the average range. Just, no, this stock can be $20. This stock can be $1. We're going to put the stop at 4.
We did anything above $2, and it was a $4 stop for every single price.
Oh my goodness, man.
But the biggest lesson for this whole 2020 year where we were figuring out what we were doing, you don't have to overcome. We did the simplest, stupidest thing, and you let the stock breathe, and it might work. So, I mean, I'm not that stupid now, and I'm like coming up with strategies, but I still keep that principle of letting it breathe and keep it simple.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if I showed you my spreadsheet, you might think I'm overcomplicating it.
How many criteria do you have for a strategy?
No, I should probably just pull it up. It's on YouTube anyways. Criteria for a strategy? Not that many. You know, we like me and my group, we try to keep our signals like very minimum. Like we want to, but if you seen like my columns, I have like, I mean, my Excel sheet's like CZ, like literally, like that's how long it goes out. You know, I have custom made formulas that I track. You know, like one I can mention because I mention it all the times, like gap ratio, which is pretty much the percent of the ADR to the actual gap percent. So I can see like if this thing the gap ratio is 1 or 2, and I have like certain correlations that I believe, you know, because of that. Well, not that I believe, but I mean I do believe it, but I found data on it, you know, that shows like, you know, if a stock, you know, let's just say a stock has a average true range of 5% and it gaps up 10%. Well, that's a, you know, that's huge. It gapped up over 10% and gapped up 2 times its average range. But if you have something that, you know, has an average range of 100% and it gaps, you know, 10%, doesn't really matter. You know, I mean, it's like, those are some of the ratios. I have like tons of different things like that I just experienced over time. I've spent a lot of time in Excel.
Yeah. And you never look. You're such a data analyzer, and you never looked into shorting.
I looked into shorting. I tried shorting for sure. The thing was, I don't have like a ton of money, and the shorting strategy that I came up with was maybe too complex. I mean, I pretty much probably have somewhere the same amount of information as you on it. Like, but I got like a 68% win ratio on a certain gap percent with a certain float, a certain price range. I think it was like the price range was like $2. I think that's what it literally was. And a certain volume criteria, right? And it showed that once this happened, it was, you know, from open, it had like a 68% chance of failing. Pretty much, that's what my statistics showed me. So of course, like the profit ratio wasn't the best, and the profit ratio was slight, but you had like thousands of trade a year, so it's like, okay, we're gonna make money. But then when I had enough money to start like a Dash account, right? So I started Dash and I had Cobra, but the fees from Dash, the fees from Cobra, I think I maybe was using Polygon, but I don't want to. Well, actually, I work for Spikeet, so I can say I don't think Polygon has the best data, you know, according to like my research. And there's like all types of, but it's live data, live data, and you know the data is different. But and then you have to hold the stock. You have different percentages for it. Like the fees just ate the whole strategy. So I just like I couldn't do it. The equity curve had just been straight, and then with the equity curve just being straight, I would have to rely on some type of outlier to hit for me. Which, you know, 1,000 trades, you're gonna get a couple outliers, but the risk premium is still that you can blow up. So it was just like, for me, but I see all you guys doing it. I'm like, damn, I probably messed up, right? But for me, it's just like my numbers came to say that I don't. It didn't make sense for me. You know. So that's what my numbers came to say. But obviously, I missed something, of course. But you know, I started looking at it in like 2022.
Okay, that was a rough year, I think, for most people, similar to myself.
That was I think that was my second strongest year. I think this year's going to be my second. This year's going to be my first best year. 2022 was the first year I was positive. I was up like 40%,
Okay.
you know. So that was like my strongest year. Obviously the market went down like a ton too. So I was very proud of that.
Yeah.
And it was just trend trading. Very simple. I
Yeah.
traded coal, I traded gas. This is like the first year I realized that trends work.
Wow.
So
Cool.
uh yeah, so do you feel like your strategy was, obviously I just talked about what I went through. I looked into it, but do you feel like your strategy was vastly different from anybody's, or you feel like you have like the special sauce that really made it work, like you and
I don't
Evan?
think so. I honestly don't feel like I do. No.
Mm.
Um, but I mean, I know several people that trade very similar to how we do. But people aren't, for obvious reasons. No one ever says exactly what they do, so it's hard to really know.
Yeah.
But just from what I know and seeing what people post on the Twitter space, I don't think we're so much different than
Yeah.
other people.
So
I
pretty
really
much
don't.
when you're reading like what other people are doing, you're like that sounds like what we do.
So yeah, a lot of the time.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, there's a
I,
whole, I mentioned Chris Verma already, but uh, I don't know what he's teaching anymore. But he had a whole chat room with like over 100 people, and all of us were trading the same stuff. So I feel like it. Yeah, I don't think we're doing something particularly different. Maybe we just are more consistent. I don't know.
yeah, I mean consistency and discipline definitely, and like we said, I mean it works wonders in this space. Like in your head, like first of all, do you think if you went back you can do it again? Like if you went back to that, whatever account that you started off with, what was your starting, account? Was it
Well,
like 30K?
I was able to open over PDT,
Mm-hmm.
but I was only I opened an account with 30K, but I had like a 5K bankroll. So I was trading with the size that and it would go down and I wouldn't lose more than
Right.
5K
Got
essentially.
you. I got you. So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
But I was able to trade every day. So that was important.
So do you think you'll be able to do it, again, or better question, do you think you'll be able to, like right now, would you be able to teach someone if they came in, was working with you guys and they followed what you guys were doing?
I think I personally think it's possible any day, any year, and it will always be possible. Um, that's a hard question, actually. I don't know how to answer that. Uh, I mean, yeah, I mean, of course, I think someone can start and learn and blow up right now. I don't think it's significantly different than 2020.
Hmm.
No, I think it is possible.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you made 2.2 million this year. I'm just wondering if you think like if you feel that, example like me, like did we do something wrong? Because you're saying you don't think your strategy is vastly different. Everyone has a similar thing. Do you think if that's the case, do you think that it's just we're doing something, we're missing something, or like why? And if they followed your strategy, if they had all your information, do you think they would be able to do it again? Pretty much replicate what you guys did.
I don't know. Um, I mean, that's a hard question to answer. I mean, um, how do I put this? I mean, I think you can get a random person that starts right now, watches all of Tim Grittani, Steven Duck's videos like we did, all the Sykes videos, and all of Chris Verma's old videos. They can come out. They can come out theoretically the same as us and find similar style strategies just like us. I think that's totally possible.
Okay. Okay. All right. So speaking of like your system.
I'll put it this way. Okay, even still, 2020 was the biggest percentage gain I've seen in my career for
Hmm.
me. Obviously, this year is the biggest dollar gain.
Hmm.
But just because 2020 was the biggest percentage gain I've seen doesn't mean I'm not having ridiculous percentage gains now. I still am. Last year, I went up 1,000%. This year, I'm already over 1,000% with the bankroll that I started with. So it is still fine. 2020 if you say I started with 5K, even 30K, no, 30K is now, because I made 290K in 2020. So actually, if you count me as starting with 30K, then that's not 1,000%, but 5K would
But
be
you were
the biggest.
using, I mean, you would
Yeah.
start with the bankroll that you obviously.
Yeah. So in
Right.
terms of
So
percentage growth, counting that I started with a 5K bankroll, 5K to 290K is still the biggest percent I've done.
that's
But I'm still doing 1,000 with not things significantly so complicated. I mean, I think it's still possible for people to do.
okay. Wow. That's insane. I thought my 40% was something. That's hilarious. Okay. Okay, cool. So have you how's like you're running your system, right? And you guys are, I assume you're automated now, but before you were automated, uh when you're running your system, have there been times like where your discretion has, kind of burnt you, like destroyed you?
It used to. Uh, 2020 and 2021, it totally burned us. I feel like I'm better at it now to where it doesn't burn me anymore. So I
Hmm.
actually like to do more hybrid stuff than just being fully automated. I don't even like to say I'm a fully automated trader anymore. You know, systems can be fully automated, but I just like I don't like I'm more of a hybrid now.
Oh wow, that's very interesting because your earlier interviews, especially, I mean, at least from the outside perspective, when you and Evan would talk, you sounded like the more systematic one, and Evan was always kind of experimenting with discretionary trading and stuff like that. So, I guess what changed that approach? Is it just more
Just
time behind the screen and just
yeah,
learning more? Yeah, that
exactly.
makes sense. That
I have
makes
more
sense.
experience.
Yeah.
I have more things under my belt that I've seen, and I feel like I
Hmm.
can gauge situations better than I used to.
Exactly. I 100% agree with that. I went through. I think a lot of us go through the exact same thing. But it's very interesting because I would think that, with your success, you would just stray away from many of those things. Is there a reason why? Are you starting to fall more in love with trading or something, or like what would be the reason? I guess you would say, oh, I want to do some discretionary trading now, even though I have this, goal in mind. And
Well, it's just adding. Just in the simplest way, doing these large cap longs. I'm very green on them, so it's just adding more money and more tools in my tool belt to get to the number that will help me get away. I guess it's just why would I not make more money if I can?
okay,
Sort
makes
of.
sense.
Yeah.
All right. And you talked about the 2022 situation. You said you lost 160K. That was like a big loss for you, and you was in the drawdown for 2 years essentially. Um, what reflection do you have for that? Like, what do you think was the main reason for that? Obviously outside of the overconfidence and a strategy that didn't work, what else could you note? And how many strategies were you running?
Yeah, I think it was actually four, and two of them were very bad, and we overanalyzed. We had too many criteria for the strategies,
Hmm.
and we overfit. That's it. We overfit. We had two strategies that looked absolutely phenomenal on paper, but we had like seven criteria for it to work, and it was that was the lesson. That's why I talk about letting the strategies breathe and making it simple and having less criteria now.
Yeah, I definitely learned a lesson like that too. So I'm right there with you. So yeah, yeah. I lost. How long does it take you to develop those strategies? Because that. The losing the money probably wasn't even the worst thing to me. It was how much time I spent developing that strategy, and then it didn't even work. That was probably the worst thing. I wasted like 6, 7 months on a strategy that I
Wow.
couldn't even take to the market because the execution was impossible, and I didn't realize it because I never tried to trade it before I did it.
It takes forever. I mean, no, it takes absolutely forever. I mean, like, I feel like I haven't come up with something really new in terms of system in, a year. So it takes a long time.
Yeah.
Well, no, I've
Yeah.
come up with new stuff, but nothing good. I mean, every 50 ideas I have, maybe I get like a half of one,
Oh wow.
you know.
I wish I had 50 ideals. See? Yeah. Yeah, I don't even got 50 ideals. I don't even know where you're pulling 50 ideals from. That's crazy.
No,
It's like
I
people
don't
just
know.
messaging you on the side telling you what to look at or something?
No. Well, of course, talking to people helps, and you guys share ideas, and and try to think of stuff. And no,
Hmm.
I don't think I have 50. I don't know what my rate of ideas to successful ideas is. I have no idea. I don't
I
keep
get
track.
like maybe 2 ideas a year that I test. Seriously. Yeah. And
It's a
I
great.
have to like visually see it in the market because I trade by hand. So,
Yep.
I currently have a 9 to 5, unfortunately.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, yeah,
How are
yeah.
you trading?
I was trading full time at first, but I used to work from home, so I would just skip out on the job. I hope none of them see this, but I used to skip
I
out
was
on
just
the
gonna say.
I used to skip out on the job, and I would just do my work after. I'm an engineer, so it's like you got to make phone calls. I can make a phone call and trade
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
yeah,
But then I would like do all my technical work literally after hours, or some people cut the computer off after like 10:30.
yeah.
I was one of those guys. I was like a 9 to 10:30, then come back at like no, it's probably like 9 to 11:30. I refuse to trade during the mid range of the day because the volume shows significant decrease, and that's usually when most stocks, you know, draw down. I don't really trade during that period, and I will come back during like the last hour of the day. Maybe if I feel like it's a good day, like it's a good market, I'll come back at 2.
Yeah.
So I'm only trading like 3 to 4 hours, maybe 3.5 hours a day, right?
Yep.
And the other part of that day, I'm doing my work. And some days it's just completely boring. I don't have like this
I know.
exciting trading strategy where I'm like hitting 18 clicks of the button and I'm not watching the tape. I'm sitting there putting the entry in and
Yeah.
watching my stop and seeing what's going on. It's very simple. So I can, do two things at once pretty much.
Yeah.
So you, how do you like during the 2-year drawdown, right? How do you, I guess, look at that and say, okay, this is a normal losing streak, or this is we messed up here. Like this doesn't
Bro,
work. Like what is the process of that? I imagine that has to be hard.
I'm speaking from personal experience. I don't know how other traders feel. You never know. I
Damn.
never know if it's the end of my career or if it's normal. Even now, I'm in a 30% drawdown from my year highs,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if it's going to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
I never know.
Yeah.
That's why trading is torturous.
Yeah. I think I'm like a 15%. I was just at all time highs. Maybe like 2 months ago, but I was full time 2 months ago. So I got a job because my account just wasn't sustainable.
Yeah.
To pay my bills. But I had paid my bills in advance. But now like it's about to be a new year, so I gotta start grinding it out again. I'm gonna grind it out for a while and then quit again and go back to working.
I've always
full-time.
had this theory that like I've always felt like December's been the worst for me. I always get very scared when
Really?
December comes. It's just
Mhm.
because like everyone's going crazy and the stocks are just like running out of control.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense because I was gonna say December's like my best year. Like it's
Oh, because you're long, yeah.
yeah, I'm long.
Yeah.
So December through January and February, I'm killing it. Like I'm ready to quit everything. Like
Yeah.
that's when my life changes right there. Like that's my cloud high.
Yeah.
Every December to February, pretty much middle of February, my numbers show I'm doing amazing. Summertime I suck. Usually around this time, like September, I think it's like from July to September, I'm doing terrible. I should really stop trading then, but I lost my all-time high again the same time. Last year, I literally doubled my account. I was up probably like 150% last year. And it's all on YouTube. Like I came into YouTube and I was sitting there just damn near about to cry. I was telling them like, in the last 2 months, during the same time, I was like, I lost 50% of my account.
So do you believe enough in this theory that you lose the same time every year to change behavior about it?
For me, yes, because I'm still very much discretionary and well, I'm not that discretionary. Like I have numbers to show what I'm doing. I'm probably like a advanced hybrid, you know. But I can lean very discretionary at times because like I said, I got a real gambler's itch. Especially when the market's hot. If the market's hot, I'm doubling risk for sure. Like
Wow.
so but yeah, I do believe it. Because if I'm trading the same strategy year round, right? And that's why I also asked you about do you trade consistently throughout the year? But if I'm trading the same strategy year round, uh, I'll look and see like, okay, this strategy performed like this during this time, but none of my strategies work at the same time. That's like the issue. That they're all going negative. So I'll
Right.
drop like one or two strategies, and then I'll sit there and just be patient and just try to trade the other one. And the other
Okay.
one, I'll just take major losses on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, so that's kind of how I got my belief. I also had this really weird belief that I shouldn't trade on Fridays because I
Interesting.
historically my worst day of the week is Friday.
You know what?
And
I think shorts talk about Fridays being the best and Mondays being the worst, actually. I hear that a lot. So it makes sense that you don't trade Fridays.
there, there,
Wow.
there you go. So I think I should stop trading during that area, but I'm addicted.
Yeah.
So I can't. But okay, let's move on to the more systematic stuff about like your process. Uh, what is it? What does even a back test even mean to you? People have various definitions. What is like the simplest, the minimalist back test you can do? Some people look at charts and say, "Oh, this one went up," and they'll do that for 100 charts and say that's a back test. What does a back test mean to you?
All of my stuff is in Excel. So, you have your strategy, you short at the entry, you cover at the exit, you have a stop. If you do that every single time, will your bankroll grow? You of course have to incorporate slippage, which is the biggest unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Um, five what am I, 5 years in or whatever? I have a much different idea as to how much slippage a strategy would have than I used to. So I put that in. So say like I used to think slippage was like 2%. I think
Wow.
it's I think it's minimum for the short strategies that I've generally been doing for my career. I think it's above 5 easy. I think it's probably closer to like 7 or something. So if I do the same trade every time and I take off 7% of it every trade, will my
Wait.
bankroll grow?
Well, let's slow down. Let's slow down here. Okay. You said 5%? 5% of what? Let's
Just okay.
5% of price, 5% of
No, like
profits.
no. Like, okay, say you short a gapper,
Hmm.
it fades 20%. You're only going to get 15%
So
from
so 5%
fees.
of like the actual profit of the trade.
Yeah, say it opens at $10. It closes at $8. That was your trade. So no, let's say this. Let's say it opens at $10, it closes at $5. You made a 50% gain. That's amazing, and that happens all the time. I
Hmm.
see it happening all the time. But I would take off 7% and say you only made a 43% gain on that trade.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Okay, so yeah, 5% on the actual profits of the
Yeah,
trades
yeah,
that
yeah,
you
yeah.
will be. Yeah, from a percentage standpoint, you're taking 5% off that percentage, and it's additive. So for people who understand what's going on there. So
Exactly.
that's very interesting because I didn't model mine like that. So that's my strategy is probably even worse than I thought. Then,
Well,
do
you
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 think
have
slippage have grown?
you have
Over
less yeah, okay. First of all, longs have less slippage. Um, second of all, slippage increases with size. So my slippage now is going to be more than someone starting.
right, yeah, slippage definitely. And I actually got a couple of questions about slippage as we go here. Um, what do you think is I guess like a significant number of samples for a back test? Obviously, I see people taking a back test. They're like, "Oh, I got 50 examples of this," and I'm like, "Oh, bro, you're doomed." Like,
This
what do you think?
My answer to this question has changed throughout the years, and I used to think like how you just said, maybe like 50 is good. And then I got to a point where I'm like, no, like minimum like 500.
Hmm.
Um, and I honestly don't know, because I know extremely successful traders that have convinced me you can have like 10 samples
Hmm.
because
Really?
the event is so extreme. There's just no way the stock can keep going up. And I don't have a strategy like that has 10 samples, but I know very successful traders that have told me that they believe in a 10 sample strategy. So
So when we talk about like an HKD that goes up 1,000% in a second or something like that, and they
exactly.
short it. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So when you're running a back test and you're testing a strategy, what is like the metrics you're looking at for your performance evaluation? Is it like a compounded annual growth rate? Is it just profit ratio? What are we talking about here?
Literally the two most important things for me is average gain and win rate. So
Okay.
now this is only because I'm familiar with my strategies. If I was looking at something brand new, I'd look at more samples. I mean more stuff,
Like more
but
metrics? Yeah.
more metrics. But because I know what I'm dealing with, if I'm glancing at an idea and want to know if it's worth investigating, all I look at is average gain and win rate. And average gain meaning, um, you know, it's incorporated with your stop. So, like I told you, it's just the average gain per trade. So you have 100 trades. One of them goes from 10 to 5. One of them goes from 6 to 4. One of them goes from 10 up, and it stops you out. You take your gain. You take the positive or negative gain of every single trade, and you get the average.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. Gotcha. Cool. And then, are you like a full Kelly guy? Are you like half? Or how are you doing? Like betting size? You doing like some of the poker methods? Like, what are you getting into to figure out like what you should be sizing? And I know you guys. I've seen you guys talk a lot about sizing. I know Tim Sykes was on your guys' ass about sizing down, not keeping yours, reducing your risk so you don't blow up.
Yeah. No, but the whole Kelly thing is it was a huge breakthrough for us. If people don't know what it is, in the simplest terms, it's more complicated than this, but you just peg a percentage. You're risking a percentage of your bankroll. So if you for every trade, you're risking like what some people do 2% of their bankroll. That would be probably a low Kelly, but you can look more into Kelly. But it's basically just pegging a percentage of your bankroll that you're risking per trade. 2022, another reason we had that drawdown, we had way too high of a Kelly. I was doing a third of my bankroll per trade, and so if you're risking too much, you can see it in the Excel sheet. You can actually have a winning strategy that starts losing by the simple laws of Kelly and risking a percentage of your bankroll per trade. You can literally have a winning strategy, and if you're risking too much of your bankroll per trade, it will be a losing strategy. So that was a big lesson in 2022. It was also because I didn't understand how much slippage that we had in our strategies. But I am still doing Kelly. I don't even look at what my perfect Kelly criterion is anymore. I just keep my bankroll risk low enough to where I know it's not going to have extreme volatility and it's not going to become a losing strategy.
Right. That makes sense. Have you looked at like Monte Carlo simulations and stuff like that? Simulations and stuff like that? No? Okay.
No, I don't even know about it. I should probably learn about it.
No, you're doing great, man. You probably don't even know about it. Usually the people that do know about it aren't doing so well. So there you go. There you have it. Yeah, I mean, there's all types of metrics and stuff like that, but it sounds like you keep it rather simple and intuitive, which makes sense. Like you're just working in Excel. You're not. I mean, that's probably, part of the reason that some people might be overfitting. They're doing all that stuff to try to get the perfect, and it's just not working. So,
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I guess when we talk about like slippage, I had a very hard time modeling slippage because I just don't know the numbers. And I think maybe after you start shorting and things of that nature, you can gain more of an understanding of it. But from a perspective of someone who hasn't taken that many shorts, how exactly can you model slippage?
Well, you can be short or long. You just have to have a system that has an exact entry and exit. And even on the long side, even when I'm looking at long strategies, I'm still putting in some slippage because I'm looking at system long. So I have an exact entry and exact exit. For example, say you want to buy, you're talking about midday squeezes. Say you want to buy as soon as it breaks high of day. So you have an exact entry. Now to track your own slippage, say high of day is $2.02. Now your goal is to buy exactly $2.02 so that you have zero slippage. But
Right.
maybe you buy $2.12 because it went so fast you couldn't even get in right away.
Yeah.
Well, then you calculate you just lost 10 cents of slippage. 10 cents off of your entrance of $2.02 is whatever percentage of slippage. And that's how you do it. And you have to, of course, factor in your ECN fees, your commission fees, and all that.
Yeah. See, and that's I mean, when I ran the numbers just off the basic, I think like I did like 3% of the pretty much I modeled it like 3% of the entry price for my slippage. So that was something around there. So that was going to be literally take away from the profit per share or something like that. It was something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't 3% per share, but it was something around that. I don't even remember how I did it anymore. But and that turned out, make the strategy just not profitable. I mean, it was barely profitable, right? But overall the profit got 8 from, so that's why I didn't
Exactly.
really get into the short. And
Yeah.
for longs, I do model slippage. You have to, and I do model it with fees too, even though I don't have fees. But one day I want to take it to an actual trading broker, so you need to put that stuff in there. But with that, right, you have with longs, I don't feel like I mean, I trade. I'm trading in a similar universe to you guys, right? I get my stops get blown up. That's something
Yes.
that happens for sure.
Yes.
And I'm sure that's definitely something that happens to you guys. But my entries are usually relatively good.
I would say no. There's way more slippage at stops by far.
Yeah.
Entries are usually the least. Then the biggest slippage people don't consider is missing a winner.
Oh,
Imagine I just missed that $10 to $5 fade. That's 50% slippage.
Yeah, because you were on the toilet or something.
Yeah. People don't think about that. That's slippage.
Yeah,
Your system only works if you get every single trade exactly how it is in the Excel.
that's a very interesting. I don't even know if that's an interesting way of looking at it. That's probably the correct way. You probably, to model that, you need to hit all your signals. You need to take every single one
That's the only way.
to model that correctly, or to take that back test to the actual market and have it replicated, correctly. That's probably what you need to do, because like you said, like what if you miss out on that outlier? What if your strategy only really makes money because you hit five trades make all the money for the year, right?
Right.
What do you do in that situation?
Yep. And for longs, you guys are at more risk of that because usually it's a
Definitely.
win rate, but higher
Definitely.
RR, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. You get huge numbers on. I mean, you get huge returns, and a lot of the strategies that you will find on longs, at least that I've seen, that you can actually quantify and say this will make us money or this is profitable for the year. It's probably like 8 trades out of a year that carries. From the ones that I've seen.
I know.
And
if you miss one,
but they really do carry though. Like they make huge gains.
Yeah.
So they make you really profitable.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, I guess that's a great point. I never really looked at slippage being that way, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then so how do you? I guess you talked about modeling it, but like, how do you in real time? I guess reduce it. Like, is there a way? Like, is there a certain execution? Like, are you using, like, is there a certain type of stop, or are you like what? How do you go about it knowing that, or is it just like it just is what it is, and we're gonna get hit? It's nothing you can do.
You just have to. I mean, the best thing you can do is just track how much slippage you have every day, and yeah, you do your best to try to mitigate it. There's only so much you can do. I mean,
You sound depressed about it.
there's only so much you can do, and honestly, I would rather spend my time finding good strategies that allow for slippage. I mean, it's like I don't know what to do. Like, okay, talk about the OPB strategy. I mean, what do you do? I mean, the best you do
There's a
is
lot of
just
slippage
click
on
the button
open.
right at 9:30. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot
Well,
of slippage.
most
on
of it is
open.
from stops. Actually, that's the problem. So,
Yeah,
you
like
can try to. I don't know.
I was modeling my EP strategy, and I tried to take it like live, one of the things I quickly realized is I'm never grabbing the open price. It's always under or above. It's actually never at the
Yep.
open price. So like
So
my
that's another
market data
thing.
that had the open, it was I never got in it. I never felt at that.
But you
But sometimes it was under and sometimes
positive.
it was
Yeah.
yeah.
You can
So
get
that
positive.
it balanced out because of that, but you never get that open price, which was
OPV
interesting
is
to
pretty
me.
safe in
Yeah.
terms of entry slippage. It's
Yeah.
pretty safe.
Yeah. So I thought that, but that's a great point though, right? So cool. So fully automated now, right? How's that going?
No.
I,
No, I could. I mean, I could be, but I am doing both. Um, that's the situation.
okay. So what about
One day
Evan?
we're kind of in the same place.
Okay. Well, I was
Or what do you
talking
mean?
about like the fully automated system, like your trades are fully auto. I think on Tim Sykes, Evan said you guys are like full automated now. Like,
Yes, I interfere with it. I interfere with it a lot of the time now. Um,
okay.
Locating, obviously, locating is fully automated. We get a signal, we get locates. That's nice, so that we don't run out of locates.
Yeah.
But in
Uh,
terms of trading, sometimes I let it run, but I trust my interference more than letting it run.
oh, okay.
Sometimes, depending on what's happening. I'm a hybrid now.
Right. I understand.
Yeah.
So how was the process of getting that like implemented?
Right. No, we have a programmer we work with.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't have any programming skills. That's why I use Spikeet.
That's a good point, man. We can throw that ad in there. So what is
They're the
like your
reason we're
relationship?
talking.
Yeah. What is your relationship with Spikeet? Like, how's that, and how
Dude,
has it been useful?
I've been using Spikeet since I think 2020.
Really?
I think I got them either 2020 or 2021.
So like,
I
soon as you got out the door, you was using it.
as soon as I was fully dedicated to system trading, and I started making money, I paid for the full version of Spikeet back in like 2020.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
a that's a very strong belief. Like,
Dude, I mean, it's great. I mean, I didn't know any. It was suggested in one of the Tim Grattani videos. That's how I found it, and it's been my main tool book since then. I do the same guy that programs for us. He's a Polygon guy, so I do look at that data also. Um, but
mhm.
as a team, we use both. But when I'm doing work by myself, I'm just using Spikeet.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I've used uh pretty much too many subscriptions and services. At one point, I made my own backtester. I had like 5. I made my own backtester in Excel because I think it's the best
It
platform
is.
to
Yeah.
backtest in, because you can manipulate the data. You can get data reports. You can also do correlations, and having an engineering background. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
I can code, but I don't want to. Like, I don't like it. So yeah, it's not
You
my
could build your own
forte.
bot if you wanted to. I mean, building a bot, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, we make the bot print your slippage,
Yeah.
print all the
Well,
borrow fees, print all the
yeah,
ECN fees.
that's a great question. Because I was gonna ask, like, do you track any advanced metrics?
I mean, when I'm not interfering with the bot, it can track it. It's kind of a mess right now because I'm just kind of doing everything. No, the bots can track it, obviously. Um, but then when I interfere, now my slippage data is messed up. So I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot in terms of figuring out my exact slippage.
Got you. Okay, so to go back a little bit, when you talked about, you had years of 1,000% returns, which brings up my next question. Black Swan events. Have you been a part of any?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know the tickers?
Oh man, I was in that stupid micro float halt SPRB recently.
Yeah.
I lost $500,000 on that one.
Oh, is that the biggest loss?
Yeah, that's my biggest loss ever.
Man. Nif said he got caught in that one too. Hacker
Yeah.
Trader. He said he got,
Dude, I don't know why I decided to trade a micro float. I mean, I've banned them most of the time, and I just got in that one.
Oh wow. So you discretioned into it and got burned.
No, I thought I would be safe in market hours. That
Oh,
was the mistake. I thought I would be safe in market hours. Of course, I'm not going to touch anything like that in any type of pre-market or after hours. But I thought I'd be safe in market hours, and now I know that I'm not safe there either. So
Yeah. So you in general, you got a rule like you're not doing micro floats.
I guess so. I guess that's it. I mean, but
Yeah.
dude, the problem with black swans,
They
I've
can.
seen black swans that aren't micro floats
Mm-hmm.
and aren't China.
Mm-hmm.
Have no indication that they should be a swan, and they're still a swan.
Yeah. I mean, that's why they're black swans, right?
I know.
So
So
yeah.
I don't know.
So I mean that's a huge loss, but you did survive. Like, how do you when you're like thinking about the strategy and you're thinking about like your risks and taking that? Obviously, you said you do Kelly and stuff like that. To obviously, you know, give some survivability. But how, in general, would you advise someone who's getting into this field really needs to make it? Someone like Niv per se, like they're in the field. They're obviously getting hit with these, or they're at risk for these black swans. How would you tell them to prepare for them?
Just don't risk a big percentage of your bankroll. That's all. Um, if you want to be super super safe, don't risk more than like 2% of your bankroll per trade. Of course, that's going to completely gut your exponential growth, but is it worth risking 20% of your bankroll and then a black swan blows you up? You know, you have to decide.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I take them long, so I don't really no black swans for me on the long side. I mean, I
Yeah,
get hit with some nasty slippage sometimes, but like I mean, if a stock can only go to zero for me. So I'm just
I know that's true. But as long aren't you still I mean, I know it can only go to 0, but can't you I guess yeah, the worst what you have like a
mm,
5-10% stop and the worst. No, but you can
yeah.
have like a 10% stop and you can still like
You can lose
SPRB.
big. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I lost 4 times what I was planning on losing. That
Yeah.
could happen on the long side.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my risks have gotten I've took more than 4 times before, but I
Right.
didn't even take it on. I took 4 times on like solar stocks that gap down.
Yeah. Yeah.
you,
So I mean, it's
stuff
still
stuff
there.
stuff like that
Yeah.
because uh in general, like sometimes you think a lot of the longs are like safe, especially like the safe ones. Like let's say you're in a big stop like SEDG, like a solar stock, huge solar stock, right? It's consolidating. You put your stop at the break of that resistance, at the bottom of that resistance, right? And the break of that resistance for something that's not moving fast and doesn't have a high ATR or ADR is like maybe 2-3%. In my case, that's what happened. And it gapped down like 15%. Well, guess what? That's like 5 times my risk.
Yeah.
That hurt.
I
Like
know.
stuff like that. I mean, I think that was one of the biggest setbacks I had of my career. Um,
Yeah. You guys
since
aren't
since I've
safe
blown,
either.
yeah,
No one's
'cause
safe.
we're not safe. We're
Oh.
not exactly safe. Some of the safest stocks. I mean, I seen people blow up on Tesla when it gapped down. I seen people blow up on Twitter when it gapped down.
I
Like,
know.
yeah, and so we're not exactly safe, but I guess we, in a way, the risk for us, I don't feel like it's a risk premium per se for us. It's just more so whatever we put in is the amount we can lose. So you can control it more. While when you guys can put in something a short and it goes 1,000%. Oh, I don't know.
Oh, there you're back.
Yeah. But I was just saying, like, that 1,000% could be way more dangerous because it's more. Same thing with options. Like that's why, you know, some of them options get nasty when you short sell them.
Yeah.
So, but what do you think about longs in general?
No, I've always wanted to do it. I just couldn't find something that seemed very good to me. That's all. I've
That's
always
very
wanted to do it. It's just harder on the system side, in my
yeah
opinion.
yeah. It's definitely harder on the system side.
Yeah.
But when you do find a long, I think in general, it's since no one else is finding them, it's like it's huge, right? The edge erosion for it is just not there.
That's a
You
good
know?
point.
Yeah.
That's a great point. You find some good long strategy. Everyone already thinks you can't find good system long, so maybe that
Mhm.
helps its longevity.
Which brings me to my next question. You and your brothers trading the same thing, right? How do you guys that slippage? Are you guys going in the same stocks, the same entries? Like, how does that
So
slippage work or
yeah, yeah, yeah.
clash?
I mean, this is also changed at times, but we had a great period where we were directly comparing. It just proved slippage to us and edge erosion, because we tracked going in at the same entrances at the exact same time, and we would take from each other. Obviously, it's obvious. There's only so much liquidity,
Hmm.
so um, it proved edge erosion is real. But no, it's something we have to talk about all the time. At least on the automated side, um, on the bot side, is staying out of each other's way, or editing strategies. Um, to help with any type of liquidity issues. But no, or just uh I mean, yeah, it's something we have to talk about, but it's real. I mean, if you do the same entry as someone else, one of you is going to get better slippage than the other person.
Yeah, one of you's gonna get burnt, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Interesting enough, I've seen this in real time because, like I said, I traded in a Discord. It's a huge Discord. The Qmagi Discord is probably one of the biggest trading communities I seen because it's free, number one, and it's like discretionary. But let's just say there was a stock on a day and everyone's talking about taking it on the open because
Yeah.
sometimes that will happen. Or everyone actually we would take it on like the 1 minute opening range high or the 5 minute opening range high. That was like more of the strategy there. And what would happen was you would see you'll be hundreds of people lined up to take the same stock at the same time.
I
And that
know.
5 minute, the slippage would be insane. And whoever had the best broker would be like, well, I got in at $2, and everyone, it would be people following up. Damn, I got in at 210. I
I
got
know.
in at 230. Like it would be insane. Like literally, I'm
I
not
know.
even making that up. There were stories like that where people would share their entries, and you would see, even though we all had the same like stop limit to get in, it would be massive amount of percent difference between the entries.
I
And
know. It's so obvious.
that's when I knew like, oh well, I'm not sharing. If I
I
find
know.
something like my entries, I'm not sharing them at all. Like that's
I
insane
know.
because of that. But what me and my group has talked about, because there's four of us, that's obviously double what you're talking about. We don't have the same amount of size as you guys have, of course. But what we talked about is like staggering. And you can put it in or automate it however you want. But they have like exits like it'll literally say stagger throughout like the last certain period of the time
Oh,
of the
like a
day.
TWAP kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like
like
a,
you'll literally be
yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I'm selling, throughout the last 5 minutes, so I
Yeah,
don't,
yeah,
just.
totally. Yeah, that's a solution for sure.
So for the future, I'm interested. You talked about your number and what number you want to hit. Is the number the same? And yeah, I mean, let's start there. Is the number the same? Before it was 5 to 10 million. I assume you're probably somewhere around 5 million right now.
I
So
went over 5, and um no, I want more. I want to get closer to 10. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. We'll see. You know, I don't know. I don't know
okay.
what
So
I'm
you
gonna
think
do.
the new number is 10 then, huh?
Minimum.
You sound like a trader, man. You sound like I'm glad. It sounds like you're really enjoying the journey here. I like to see that because I know for a fact, like I'm a trader at heart. I'm addicted now. To me, it's like a video game. Since I came into it, it's been like a video game. It's been like a competition. It's been like a performance sport. I took all the energy I used to do in those things, and I just said I'm gonna put it in trading.
Yeah.
Plus, I already had a math background, so this just made sense to me. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was working with data since like 16 experiments, doing like testing criteria and stuff like that. So me joining just made sense. But for you, coming in, especially like during 2020 and kind of getting with your brother from the research I did, it always sounded like this guy doesn't really love trading, but he likes the money and he likes, like the experimentation and creativity
I
and looking for
This is what I
strategies.
want. I want to not have to think about money for the rest of my life.
I'd
So
say,
if you talk about the 4% rule, 5 million, I mean, growing a family, I mean, you can live, but I might have to still think about money.
mm-hmm.
So, 10 million, now I have 400K a year, not in it, I won't have to, I won't think about money at all at that point.
Yeah,
But 5 million, 200K, especially if, I don't know. Yeah, I want more than 200K a year.
I understand. Yeah. So, I mean, that brings us to my next question. What is your relationship like with trading now? How do you feel about it?
No, No, it's the same as always. It's a job. I want to grow as fast as possible. Um, I was super addicted early on. Now it's just like, it's a job.
Okay,
It's
gotcha.
it's the best job I could choose, really.
But it's still a job.
Yeah, I mean, I still enjoy thinking about it. I enjoy talking about it. It still like stimulates me and interests me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not. I've never been. I don't think I've ever been as passionate as most people. Which probably maybe I could have grown more if I was more passionate. But who knows?
Oh man, you'd have been the nine figures.
I know. I know.
All right, or maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe the passion is what stops people. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe. I feel like my detachment kind of helps me sometimes.
Yeah, that's what That's what I was gonna say. I feel like obviously I'm very passionate about trading, and I feel like it hurts because some days, even though I know I shouldn't trade, and I have the stats that show like, yo, this is not gonna work.
Yeah.
I just want to scratch the itch to trade. Like I don't even care. I'm throwing money in the blender, and I'm just like, so what? I'll make it back later. I know I can. Who cares? I just want to trade. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that's I wake up like it was literally like a whole year. I woke up just to trade. That's all I wanted to do. It's
Yeah.
the only thing I cared about. So I feel
Wow.
like that type of addiction and passion hurts. Like it really hurts.
It could. It could. I mean, if you threw that, if like that obsession goes into like, see, it's the way you're explaining it to me, that obsession goes into the act of trading. But if that obsession went into like, I don't know,
The act of
Excel
like,
sheets, but it does go
yeah,
into Excel sheets too. So to me, the danger sounds like the section goes into the act of trading.
it goes into both, man. I can't
into both.
separate it.
It's
But it
good
goes
into
it
the other.
definitely goes more into the trading. It definitely
Right.
goes more into the trading. I'm
But
not
that's the
gonna lie.
dangerous part. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it definitely goes, but it's been time. Like I spent like it's like I spent 2 years. I hired a coder. We worked together. I built like my own back. I mean, I can turn when we get off the recording. I can show you some stuff that I've been looking at. But like it goes into both, but it goes way more. I have way more of a passion for trading because
Right.
the other stuff, like I like looking at data, but I don't like coding. I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
absolutely hate it. I have no problem trying to manipulate data and stuff like that, but it's just like all the extra stuff that you have to do. Like when I'm trying to back test, it's just annoying. If I had an easy back test that just, hey, you push two buttons, or if it was like Spikeet where like I have to do no coding,
Yeah.
cool. I would love back testing then. But
Yeah.
the fact that it takes so much energy, I'm
Can't
willing
you
to
just use
spend.
Spikeet in Excel? Is that not enough?
That's not enough for me.
Okay.
If I show you what I'm like, my kind of what I have, you'll be like, wow, like what is this guy doing, and why is he not making tons of money? I ask myself the same question. So we let's try to wrap this up here. I do have some questions on the closing here, and it's just about giving advice to people, right? Obviously, you've been very successful in this field. I want to know, what characteristics do you think um of yours has been advantageous for your journey in this career of a systematic trader?
I just working. I've always been a good worker, and if I it sounds like similar to you. I can easily get obsessed with something, and as soon as that clicks in, it's the only thing I'll think about, for weeks or months.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like that for a very long time in the beginning, and I get like that again whenever I'm in a drawdown, which is a good defense mechanism.
That's
So
a great characteristic.
it's not gone. It just disappears when things are going great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I totally understand. It was one point in my life where I got a job at NASA and I was doing well in training. I was at all time highs.
Wow.
I was just like, I'm just gonna settle in life. Like I'm
You had
good.
a job at NASA and went for trading?
Yeah, I had a job
Bro.
at. Yeah, I had a job at NASA. I quit literally to do full time trading. I quit recently.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
But you
yeah.
probably had a decent salary.
I had a great salary.
Wow.
Yeah,
That blows my
that's a risk
mind.
you have to take, man. I really do believe. I mean, I don't want to tell anyone this, but like, I don't listen to me, guys. Listen to him. But at the same time, I believe that you really got to be all in. Like, you have to have some type of crazy thing to make it in your head in this field. And I told my girlfriend, like, I literally die for this. Like, if I don't make it, I can just die. I don't care. As long as I give it my all, that's all I care about. So that's
I
what I
mean,
did.
I think I believe that you do have to have your all in to make it in this career,
It is a
but
dangerous
there's
piece of
still like
advice,
a
though.
90%
Yeah,
chance, even if you're all
it is
in.
dangerous advice, though.
Yeah.
But I had talked to my brother about it, and he gave me a really good piece of advice because, like, you know, I didn't want my family worrying about me, or like, oh, we're gonna have to take care of you or whatever. I mean, I had a bunch of money saved up. Like I said, I
Yeah,
had a
yeah,
good
yeah.
job. I also have like rental properties and stuff, so it's not like
Oh, okay.
so I have
It
like
could
side
you
incomes too.
survive for the rest of your
No,
life? Oh,
no,
okay.
no, not even close. Not even close. I couldn't make it past 6 months, but I still did it anyways, right?
Okay.
But my brother told me, he's like, dude, you worked at NASA, like you can just find another job. And once he said that, I was just like, I literally put in my 2 weeks notice, like
That's
right
true.
after.
That's
I was
true.
just like, and I found another job relatively quick. So, you know, I'm probably
Okay.
going to quit this job at some point too, but it's just the nature of the game.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the
yeah,
next
yeah.
question though, what characteristics do you think is like a disadvantage for you in your journey of being a trader?
Uh, um, in my experience, the inability to follow rules.
Ooh, that's a great one. Oh my gosh. That is a great one.
I know a personal friend of mine that I taught, and he quit after a year. And same with my brother. He quit after a year, and yeah, usually not being able to follow rules. And it's the
No.
itch, the addiction, the needing to do it, or you can't accept this loss, or no, it's gonna come down. Just
Yeah.
not being able to be a absolute Karen about rules.
Yeah. Yeah. The gotta be stoic about it, no emotions, just remove it, turn into a robot. I
Yeah,
can. Yeah, that's a huge problem. I'm having my best year this year. And I solely credit it because I used to tell everyone, like, I was talking to, like, my execution is terrible, and it's because I used to go back and forth, like, knowing what to do and trying to think I can squeeze out a little bit more, or whatever, you know, just not really following the rules. Exactly what you said. So
yeah.
that one hit home for me. So that's gonna wrap up this episode. Let's see. Should be up Monday for those who are interested. The Quant Room, the stories behind the data, the series, we're posting every single Monday. So if you are interested in this type of content, if you want to learn more about quantitative strategies to beating the market, or just more systematic strategies, metrics to use, how to backtest, how people are automating their strategies, subscribe to Spikeet. Check us out at www.spikeet.com. If you're looking for data, you can also get charts there. There's many things you can use. It's good for not only people like us that do systematic trading, is great for discretionary traders. I cannot tell you enough how much it has helped me in my hybrid approach to just figuring out correlations, simple correlations. You can print out the volume, you can figure out your win rate, you can figure out the high of day. It's all just a simple click of a button. Even now, you can just literally just use the AI to figure out what you need for your data set. So check us out. But that's going to do it for this episode. Chris, you want to give out shout outs to your social medias or anything, or?
Yeah, follow my Instagram at Chris Sunk, SUNK, and my Twitter is Chris_Sunk.
And if you guys are looking for a good time, check out his YouTube too. It's the same thing.
Instagram's the same thing. Yeah.
All right, and you can well, you guys really can't follow me. I mean, you can follow me on Twitch at who's_agent, and you can also follow me on YouTube at who's_agent. But I don't really do social media, so good luck trying to get to me. Someday I'll put my Discord out there, and you guys can message me there if you're interested. But and also for the audience that's watching who's made it this far, thank you. I know this one is rather long, but at the same time, we are looking for more people to interview, or more people to talk to in general. We're looking for people who can give you guys good content and good information. They don't have to be, Chris. They don't have to be, in the 5 million range. You don't need to be super profitable. We're just trying to get people's stories. Like I said, it's called The Stories Behind the Data for a reason. So check us out next week. Subscribe, and peace.